Welcome back, everyone. Our next guest is a veterinarian with a heart of gold and a flair for adventure. He travels the world, saving animals' lives, and now he has a new film documenting his incredible work. Take a look.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this. You got my weight.
Yes, yes.
Okay, pull it up. Start pulling it up.
Okay. Oh, not that side.
Like, give me the dessert. Give me the dessert.
Oh, man. Well, the film is called Dr. Cliff Worldwide Vet, and we are so excited to have the worldwide vet himself here in studio, Dr. Cliff Redford. Welcome to the social.
Thank you.
So we just saw a clip of one of your incredible rescues. That one took place in India, but you've been around the world. You've been to Greece, you've been to Egypt, you've been to Jamaica, everywhere in between, providing care to animals. So is there like a typical call when you're on the road, or how does that usually go? How does that go?
We definitely, for all the places we've been to, we certainly set up spay-neuter clinics and deal with rabies vaccinations, especially in India. That's a big problem. A lot of hit-by-car traumas. But then there's crazy, atypical, rescues. My first trip to Jamaica 6 years ago, on day 2, I had to do eye surgery on a crocodile.
Oh my
And
gosh!
I had no wildlife experience. I was just cats and dogs at that time. I now have a lot of wildlife experience. So yeah, nothing typical. It's always go, go, go.
Wow. Well, I feel like a lot of people learn some stuff on the job, pretty harmless, most of it, like fixing the photocopier machine.
Yeah.
The stakes for you feel a little dialed up. So what are some of the things that are the most dangerous?
Yeah, and I mean, as you saw in that clip, some of the dangers are self-imposed. A little bit of a midlife crisis, maybe. I sometimes jump into things and rappel off of high buildings, but I have experience in that. But the biggest dangers are dealing with these wild animals, even the street dogs. It doesn't have to be a crocodile or a bat,
right?
Because they bite us,
right? They're afraid.
Yeah, they're afraid. They're hurt. I was in India and I came within millimeters of getting bit by a dog that later we ended up finding out had rabies. So.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. I'm vaccinated against rabies, but thank goodness I have first aid training.
Yes.
So yeah, it's crazy.
And you're fit and you're quick.
Yes.
I think so.
Very fast.
Yeah. Listen, your most recent trip was to Ukraine. And you were there and you cared for animals who've been, like the people, impacted by the ongoing war there. So when you're volunteering in now like a war zone, like how does that impact the kind of work that you're doing?
Yeah, Ukraine was great, I guess if we can say that. I went into Kharkiv in the Donbass region, so right in the war zone. And I worked with some animal rescue groups there because the vets had left. It was scary. Like I thought I was prepared, but there was what we call Russian thunder every day, every minute almost, which is basically the bombings. We could hear the bombings. The clinic that I worked in, there was times where I'd be doing surgery and the whole building would shake from the bomb coming so close. There was even one point where there was a high explosive ballistic that landed very close, a couple 100 feet to my apartment that I got on video. It scared the dickens out of me, but such amazing people, and I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Wow.
You prioritize traveling to sort of underserved places, but when you think about medicines and surgeries and just simply supplies, that's expensive. So how do you manage the resource demands when the funding might not always be there?
Yeah, and thank goodness I own my own clinic, so I just fund it. I write it off and fund it myself. I talk to the rescues, I find out what they need, I bring stuff that I know are necessary. And a quick little story, sometimes I bring things that aren't supposed to cross borders, like narcotics. And I'm coming into Poland with these 3 giant hockey bags full of supplies and these drugs. And this one big custom agent was like, what is in there? Tell me what's in there. And as I'm showing it, I finally said, this is for the kittens and the puppies in Ukraine. And he just smiled and gave me a little hug and said, bless you, go on your way. So, if you ever want to bring drugs
No. To help.
Kittens and puppies, that's the secret.
Kittens and puppies, and you're a vet. Okay. I watched the film and it's so phenomenal. And very quickly you learn that your own daughter, Emily, joins you on a lot of these trips. And in many cases, we see that she's following in some of your footsteps. You clearly both have a flair for travel and for helping animals in these kinds of missions. So what is it like to have your lastborn joining you on some of these amazing rescues?
Yeah, and I should say, big round of applause. She turns 22 tomorrow.
Oh, Emily!
Future woman leader.
That's right.
Future woman leader. She's my right-hand person. She's done all the trips except for that one into Ukraine in the last 4 years. And I can't save some of these animals without her, especially her anesthetic understanding, like her skills for things like that. And the reality is a lot of these situations are so emotionally difficult. So we hug each other when it's sad and we celebrate the successes. And it's been great watching her grow up and just follow in my footsteps. I love her. She's amazing.
This is a hard question to pin down, but is there a favorite aspect of the job that you do?
Yeah, not hard at all. It's releasing the animals. I mean, whether it's wildlife or street animals, finding a home for them, but to be able to release a bald eagle into the wild, or as people are seeing right now, a deer in Poland that was trapped in some rope. I mean, that's why I do this job. It's amazing.
Listen, the documentary, as any animal lover will know, there's tough stuff. You don't ever want to see an animal hurt or suffering, and there's tear-jerker moments. So how do you deal with the emotional part of the job when you're dealing with something particularly challenging? Like I think of the monkey. I don't want to give anything away. The monkey, for example.
Yeah, the monkey, which is where the tattoo comes from. It's tough. I've learned to compartmentalize, when the tragedy is happening, when the surgery is happening. I sort of just go into robot mode and focus on what's happening, and I do my job. And then afterwards, the tears come. And sometimes they're tears of joy, sometimes they're tears of sadness. Again, I give Emily a big hug and we talk about it, and I just share my experiences. And that's the best way to deal with stresses. If there's any sort of mental health issue, you talk it out with your loved ones, and that's how you deal with it.
The new film is called Dr. Cliff, Worldwide Vet. Dr. Cliff, thank you and Emily and your teams for doing all the work you do.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I'm very, very excited. I'm going to be hosting the premiere screening of the film in Toronto on Sunday with Dr. Cliff and everybody who's been invited to come. And so please make sure to stay on top of social media. We'll give you all the information you need on where you can watch it next. We'll be back right after this.
Hey there, wasn't that great? Do you know where you can find some equally good content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with discussions, debates, and some laughs. Head there now, like and subscribe.